It's a great show. It was a great fucking show.
Why are you so angry?
It's the greatest show ever.
Let's start with we'll start with Nickelheads of the Week, and I'll go first because, and you can attest to this. I sent you my Nickelhead earlier today before either of us had even listened to the podcast, and my Nickelhead was me, Andy Mayo. And the reason I picked myself for the Nickelhead of the Week was because of the just embarrassing DM that I sent Kirk last night, which then came up on the show. So
I got to deal. Part of the deal when you do this stuff, you have this access. The other fucking guy, Mayo, messaging me like 26 times to go on this stupid show.
I'm surprised at the amount of people that feel comfortable messaging you.
Oh, he messaged me a couple of times. He's like, "Hey, you know," because I did some chat yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, you want to come on?" And 8 hours later, he's like, "It's a bad idea. Sorry." I'm like,
he gets very self-conscious.
He tweets out a picture of his messages to me. I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, I'm home on my fucking kid. Like, you know, my top priority is not going on your stupid shit fucking podcast. What do you want me to say?
It made me laugh because I saw your tweet this morning, sharing that DM. And I don't know if I'm the only one who gets your humor, or your humor's not for everybody.
Yeah,
but
I guess so.
It instantly made me laugh because I just thought of Kirk being in that AMA in the Discord. And then you seeing that he would say, it's kind of like a throwaway line is how I took it, that he'd be on the Mincel Intel show.
Exactly.
And then I could see you sending that DM to him. And you got to walk me through the thought. I just got to know, like, what were you thinking from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.? What the hell's going through your mind after you send that thing? Where the hell was that coming from?
Well, I can tell you where it came from was just, you know, if you had asked me before the AMA, if you'd said, "Hey, would Kirk go on Mincel Intel?" I would have laughed and been like, "Of course not. Like, what a stupid question." But then when I saw him say sure, I thought, "Oh, geez, well, if he said sure to that, maybe he'd come on my show." And it was one of those cases where the whole time writing the DM, I was just thinking, like, don't do this, don't send this. There's no way. And that's probably the saddest part is that I went through several drafts and revisions of that DM.
And obviously, you have an open invitation to Nickelsworth. Oh, thanks so much. It's my fucking network.
He's abbreviating it now.
I know. I hate. There's nothing I hate more than fucking. I think there's an appetite for seeing you destroy me, aka give me a Nickelsworth.
People are hungry out there.
5:47, then later that night. Shouldn't have sent that, huh? I don't know. It's fine.
And even when he read it out loud today, I was like, wow, why did I say, like, there's an appetite for something?
the appetite part was hilarious. I was hoping maybe you'd throw in like Mayo persona maybe in there. That's one of my favorites that you have. It just, and then seeing that tweet this morning, I took it as a joke. I thought it was hilarious. But again, not everybody gets that, I don't think.
No.
And I'm sure there's probably others maybe in a private thread somewhere that probably don't enjoy it, but I thought it was hilarious.
Well, that's my thing is, you know, when I sent that tweet out this morning, like, I sent the tweet out and said in it, this is me proactively outing myself as an idiot, an effing idiot.
Yep.
So when I hear, you know, people chirping me, they're like, "Oh, bad day, Mayo." I'm like, "Oh, so Kirk agreed with me that I'm an effing idiot," and he went on a rant about it. That was a very, very funny rant. Like, that's totally fine with me. I love that. And I think what gets lost is that I have a very self-deprecating sense of humor, and I don't mind being the butt of jokes. And oftentimes I've been antagonistic knowing that I'm going to get knocked down to size eventually and that people will find that funny. So even the follow-up message to Kirk, the only thing that got me a little bit today was when he portrayed that as a woe is me kind of thing, which I could totally see in black and white. Like, black and white text is easy to be misinterpreted. There's no tone of voice and things like that. I could see him taking it that way, but it wasn't meant that way. That was me as just saying, like, "Hey, Kirk, like, I'm an idiot, huh? Should have never sent that." Not like, I didn't want him to feel bad for not responding. Believe me, I've messaged him before and he hasn't responded. And I would always say, like, well, why would Kirk Minahan feel compelled to respond to me? If I expected that from him, I'd be an idiot. He's nice enough to occasionally respond to me. It's awesome of him.
Right. And I think I took his anger at the beginning of the show today. I mean, look at it. We're sitting here bullshitting, just talking about the show, right? Which he said he doesn't want to happen, or at least he said in the beginning of his show today.
Yeah, that was surprising.
But I think he's just upset because, you know, he spent the weekend, you know, probably constantly checking in on the Discord, spent time in that AMA as well, answering those questions, and just seeing kind of the bickering and the fighting that's going on, or maybe this Rona season is getting to everybody, and maybe that's the reason why. But I didn't take it as anything more, as just kind of he was in a mood this morning, and he kind of put it out there a little bit. But I think every show that's on the KMS YouTube channel is basically bullshitting about his show. It's the world he's created. It's what we're going to do. I mean, I obsess about this show. I listen to it twice a day when there's drama going on the night before in the Discord. I can't wait for 11 a.m. And I think there's a lot of people that are out there like that. And there's nobody that gives more to the fans. Who's going to spend over an hour on a Sunday afternoon in the Discord with their fans? Like, it's just not going to happen. So,
I agree. And he said today, he said something like, just thank me for the content and shut up.
Right.
That's something I sometimes feel bad about, because I know I've been antagonistic and I like to stir the pot, and but I do feel bad. Like if Kirk Minahan were to genuinely think I'm not grateful for how much he does, or that I don't recognize it, I would feel bad about that. So I'm with you. I couldn't agree more that he goes above and beyond, and he's a crazy genius who's also insanely accessible to his fan base. Like you said, he's doing AMAs at least once a week.
Yeah.
And he's DMing with people. Like he's been kind enough to DM with me before. I will say, I heard Mike today said, I'm surprised how many people take it upon themselves to message you. Kirk opened the DM Pandora's box with me. Now maybe I should close that box and stop DMing him.
But with Mayo, man, that thing stays open. Plugged in, I guarantee.
And to be fair, he did open it to tell me what an idiot I am on a particular issue. So it's not like he opened it to tell me that I'm a great guy. He opened it to set me straight on something.
There was another time too where he popped in. I think he was answering questions in the Discord. I don't think it was a formal AMA. I think it was last week. And then you had put something out there on Twitter because you were upset with Steve.
Yeah.
And he was literally seeing that on his phone while he's in the Discord. Like, it was funny to see that instantaneous. That's how much he's tuned in and sees everything. So if he's seeing everything and he's got you in his DMs, that's a lot of Mayo in his life, man. That's probably, a whole lot. It's not for everybody.
Probably too much.
It's probably too much.
And that was dumb of me. I should never, ever have shared that thing with Steve, because like Kirk said, he was just joking. Like, yeah, he made fun of me. But he, are you trying? My wife is trying to do something without being in the you're good. But I shouldn't have done that. Sometimes I am sensitive and I get triggered. But for the most part, I try not to. And you mentioned before how Kirk said he I think his words were, enough dicking around and inside joke shit on the YouTube channel. Were you surprised by that? Because he said do something different. He also made fun of me for the microphone thing. So
I watched Andy Mayo and DEC talk about fucking microphones for 5 minutes and said, okay, we're good. Moving on. It's not for everyone. It's okay. Maybe move the microphone talk to the end. Maybe Steve's right. But hey, listen, I'm not going to get in the way.
So I went into my show thinking, all right, let's try to do something a little different. Obviously, everybody wants the KMS talk. And that was his feedback too after the first episode. He said, maybe move the mic talk to the end. So yeah, I was kind of surprised, but I guess maybe the takeaway is that he said he likes Steve and TJ. He said because they're fun. They're not at war with people. They're just having a good time. So maybe that's really what he's looking for out of everybody.
Right. And I think from hearing that today, my note on that was, I wonder what that means for shows like yours, even DEC with rotating co-hosts. It's hard when you have that constant rotation to have that kind of a relationship that I think Steve and TJ have naturally. So I think that comes off really well in the show.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder what that's going to mean. I think it's probably not a very deep bench. I don't know how easy it is for you to find people to come on here, but it's not a very deep bench of people that are able to do it. So
yeah, and you're right. There's definitely something to be said for that chemistry. And I think Mike's show was a good indicator of that, because I think part of why he has Matt on there every week is because I think at the beginning, let's face it, Mike had some people come on who didn't contribute much. And I feel like he was very quick to say, okay, here's a reliable guy that I can at least count on every week, having this one guy that I know is going to come through. But I feel like he's gotten beyond that now. I think he's got a good bench of people that are all pretty good. And I I've said before, I think Matt is very good on air. As annoying as I find Matt at times, I would never say he's bad, but I don't think he should be on there every week. I don't think it's necessary anymore. And I don't think I don't think it adds enough to justify it every week.
Yeah, and that kind of segues into my nickelhead of the week that I have. It all came over, this weekend with, I think guys like, and I think it was on Sunday, the guys, and I saw earlier this morning too, Butt and Matt, and I saw DEC's sensitivity on Twitter as well. Just the people that are judging other fans and what they do with their fandom and how they support the show and what they should be doing, the judgment from on high, from a Twitter thread somewhere. It doesn't serve us in any way. It's the same thing where with Didi and obviously and some other fans that feel like, they're coming in, they're loyal to the show, and they're being pushed around or told how to be a fan, or you need to make prank calls, or you need to do this. And I feel like you can, if you just download the show, you give it the 5 stars, and you keep downloading, you keep rating and reviewing. That's great. If you want to support the sponsors, that's great too. I'm terrible at prank calls. I try and make them. They're not great. Or just go on to WEEI and clog up their phone lines and their text lines because they don't have enough talent to put a show together without that. There's a lot of things you can do as a fan to support the show that you love. I'm not here to judge that and tell you what you need to do. And I don't think Steve or DEC or Matt should be telling you what to do. I think it all comes from Kirk, and that's about it, so. Yeah,
and Kirk's kind of drawn that line too recently, where he liked your tweet that you sent out, basically the same sentiment you just expressed. And I asked him in the Discord, why'd you like that tweet? And he said, why wouldn't I? But I felt like that wasn't quite a fair answer from him because unless I'm missing it, I don't see Kirk liking a lot of Minifan tweets. So I feel like it was a very deliberate thing to do that, knowing we would notice it. And B, it follows up on, a week or two ago when he kind of chastised the quote unquote old guard for doing, as you just said, telling other fans how to be fans.
All right, what do you want us to do, Matt? Thing with the Discord, you think that you're the only people who are in on the joke, when in reality, we made the fucking joke.
Oh, good job, dude. We know that. We fucking know that.
We'll start fucking acting like it.
So I was curious why he made a point of liking that tweet, but he didn't want to elaborate.
Yeah,
I need to have someone else ask my questions. I need you to ask my questions for me.
That's true. I think maybe it was the source, but also I think you asked it near the end of the AMA or somewhere like an hour in, and he is just blasting through all those questions.
Yeah.
So that might also be a part of it too. I don't know. But yeah, go ahead.
No, please, you go ahead, Red.
So I just think, once we move past those things, that we saw this weekend, and I think we will, and from Kirk's sentiments today, I think as long as the shows are continuing the jokes, because it is a comedy show, if they're continuing those jokes on Twitter, on the Discord, hopefully on the Reddit too, although it's not that busy there. But if they're doing those things in those areas and doing them on like your show here and contributing that way, that's going to help us get through this, because it is rough right now. In the Discord, when I'm talking to people, like there are some people who are facing unemployment right now, and I know I'm fortunate in the job that I'm in, but I know others are not that fortunate. So we all got to kind of band together a little bit, still give each other plenty of shit, because that's important. Like if your show is terrible, I know you're more than willing to hear that criticism and go along with that. But we gotta come together a little bit and stop this divisiveness, as Alex Freeman would say.
So you just led into a question I had for you. You said if my show's terrible, I should expect to get crap. I think me of all people, given that I've been critical of things in the past, yes, I'd be a total hypocrite if I got very upset with people for expressing their opinion about my show. But I've gotten to the point where I can't bring myself to criticize any of the YouTube shows. And I don't know what it is, but I think it's because Kirk, Mike, and Steve are broadcast professionals. And I feel like when you sign up for that, you sign up for the criticism and the trolling on Twitter and all that stuff. But with the YouTube shows, like it's just fans putting themselves out there, which is not an easy thing to do. And they're taking a shot at something. So even the ones that I haven't cared for, I find myself just, I don't want to say anything negative about him. But then I see, Menners kind of going off on Latino Kirk, and Menners is funny. Like, I still find it really funny for somebody to be doing that, but there's also a lot of calls, like you said, now for some unity among the fan base. So I guess I don't know where the line is anymore for what's appropriate ball busting and when that crosses into the just fighting that Kirk said today he's sick of seeing.
Right. Yeah, and everybody who's a fan of Kirk is, like Menners, is quick to want to call somebody a drip. Like, that's just going to come. It's going to happen. And I think that's all a part of the world. I can see where it's a struggle for you, because I think you have put together some good shows. I really enjoy them. But I can see how hard it is, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing and putting yourselves out there. And I remember when you went on with DEC on his show, and he was just giving you shit because you had constantly been kind of poking people and giving them a hard time about what they're doing and how they're doing it. And then you put yourself out there and you started a show. I think that's a great way to do that. I know it's hard to get approval because you got to come up with something good. I didn't get approved for a show, but I don't, that it is what it is. It was.
Oh, you got shot down?
Well, I wanted to do a movie show, but Kirk started doing. I wanted to do the movie show that Kirk wasn't able to do because of lights, camera, Barstool wouldn't let him do it. So
is that true?
That's the impression that I get. I haven't confirmed.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I missed that. Because I've heard people say that, and I didn't know if I missed him saying that on the show someday.
I got that impression. Like, he had brought it up on his show when he was talking about wanting to do something like that, and we were all really fired up about it. And I think he sent that up to Erica, and I think that's the word that he got back, is that I don't think Lights, Camera, Barstool was particularly happy with Kirk's idea, which I think he said he's kind of hinted at that in ways where he's been a little critical of them after that. So that's why I wanted to do the show originally, but Kirk's already doing it. Like, him putting on those nightly shows where he's hanging out with his brothers or talking about movies, or even Bicentennial Man on Thursday, is going to be a terrible movie, but it's going to be great to have those guys covering that. And hearing Kirk talk about movies is fantastic. So
I can't do it. I can't watch. I would watch other people watch it without me actually watching it alongside with them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's even weirder and makes me even more of a loser, but I would draw the line at actually watching Bicentennial Man. Although Steve's endorsement of it kind of makes me curious, because I like a lot of the same sci-fi stuff that Steve likes.
There's no way this is good. There is no way. Robin Williams only has so many good movies. I don't want to sound like Quantum Week Chris, who hates everything in pop culture everywhere. He seems to hate everything, but there's no way this movie is good, which I think will lead to Kirk shitting all over it and Mike shitting all over it. I think it'll be hilarious. So,
if Kirk does, Mike will.
Well, yeah, Mike will definitely do that if Kirk does it.
Although we did get I'll insert the clip here.
Enough of that dicking around inside joke shit. Do a fucking show.
Not sure what you mean by that part, but
what do you mean?
I don't know the inside.
Which word in that sentence did you not understand?
I don't know the inside jokes you're referring to.
What do you mean?
Which word did you not understand?
What are you, a fucking idiot?
What's wrong here?
I just said, what inside jokes? What are you talking about?
I don't know what they did that you didn't like, is all I'm saying.
Okay. Do you know what?
That's what I was asking. I said, what did you mean? What didn't you like?
The three of them just sit around bullshitting. That's what every fucking show is. Do something different.
I got you. You don't like that they were talking about the show. Do something else other than...
That's what I just said.
I didn't get what you meant. I'm sorry.
So I just said 30 seconds ago.
Why are you so angry?
Fucking times I have to say it.
That was Mike actually standing up to Kirk today and getting a blistering response from Kirk. But that was good when Kirk said, which word in that sentence did you not understand? And Mike said, which words in my sentence did you not understand? I was like, go Mike, get him. So
yeah,
I like seeing that. But geez, Kirk was not having it.
Kirk was in a mood, and when he drops that line, you can tell he's in a mood. And usually Mike backs down right away, but Mike showed a little bit of backbone, but then, much like a Dave Cullinane, just quickly retreated back into the show.
And again, it's so easy to criticize Mike for that. I'm sure if I had Kirk Minahan going at me like that, I'm sure I'd melt. I'm sure I'd be a puddle,
Oh, absolutely.
But that's part of being a fan, is criticizing people for things that you never in a million years could do.
Absolutely.
So I want to pull a quantum Chris and get a little pretentious. Did you watch Watchmen on HBO?
Oh, I did. I loved it. Yes.
So there was the line in there. I loved it as well. There was a line in there where they said masks make men cruel. So that was the theme of the show, that anonymity leads to cruelty, and in that show people have more violent tendencies when they're anonymous under a mask and things like that. And I remember watching it and thinking, like, that sums up so much of Minifandom, at least for me personally, and I think for others, where when you're operating an anonymous Twitter account, part of the fun for me was really being not quite cruel, but an agitator and dumping on people and stuff like that. But then now it's like, I'm talking to you, you're an actual person. There's everybody's, the masks are off and it's a community, and I'm finding it a lot harder to maintain that persona. Not that that's a bad thing, but like I said the other day, I was like, when did I become the nice Minifan? Menners is in just burning people down now.
I know, and he's able to do it by putting himself. He's completely out there now.
Yeah,
and he continues to do it, but he does it in a funny way.
Yes,
which I really enjoy. I don't think he's ever crossed the line. I mean, there were times during Steve's suspension that people were upset with Menners, and I get that, but I never got the impression, as much as Menners gets angry, that he wants Steve to be unemployed and homeless and everything else.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe I'm
He
wrong.
might disagree, though. I don't know.
Right. He totally might. And I'm looking forward to even being here on this show so he can shit on me on Twitter. I can't wait. That'd be great. The second to Kirk giving you a hard time, and what that means to be a Minifan, probably a Menners giving you shit on Twitter is probably pretty good too. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's a close second.
Right. So I enjoy that stuff, but I can see that's a good point about Watchmen. It's interesting to see how everybody takes it when they put themselves on Mike's show or on yours, or going around and putting themselves out there a little bit more, how they act. Because if you go on the Discord, there's a lot of people in there that are not putting themselves out there on video, and they can really stir it up, and they give it as good as they get it. It's a lot of fun to be in there as a Reddit guy. I love the Reddit and I love the Discord. I love both spots. Those are great spots to get shit on and give it back too. So I think it'll be interesting to see what that does for these parody accounts as we keep going. As the content keeps coming in, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But you're a kinder, gentler Mayo, and I don't really like it. I like I like a spicy Mayo.
No, I'm not that. I'm a nice guy in real life. So it's like I said, as you get to actually know the people in the world, I can't maintain it. I'm still going to always be critical. Like even yesterday, like, I'm not going to go into Discord and, hola, what are you doing, Kirk? Like, that's just not me. I've got questions about the show and things that I ask these questions to myself while I'm listening to the show and think, oh, I'd really like to know the answer to that. So I'm always going to ask that stuff. And I saw someone named Killer Kowalski say when I left the Discord, good, Mayo will shut the fuck up now. All I'll say is I'm just sad it wasn't the real Killer Kowalski, because then he'd be dead.
See, that's it. That's the spicy Mayo I want right there. That's perfect.
Perfect. So I want to introduce a new segment, Nickel Rubber of the Week.
Oh, wow.
So nickel heads is people that we are dumping on. Nickel Rubber is someone who this week took two nickels and rubbed them together and made a dime.
Yeah,
okay.
So I think you're playing the gender card right here, because you literally said, I don't want to hear
Justin coming in with hot takes.
I don't want to hear Ned Stark talk about all of his shit, and then you're like, Brandy, well, she.
Wow, look at this guy.
Excellent point.
It's not a.
You give him a week of
investigating. This guy's a killer now.
I was proud of intern Justin to see him kind of loosen up and go at it like that. Because personally, maybe it's because working in education, not that I don't work directly with students, but like I've got a soft spot for intern Will and intern Justin. I mean, imagine if your internship was with the Kirk Minahan show. Like, what an experience for those guys. So again, just working on the YouTube show has given me some insight into like Will and Justin. If you need something from them, they're there for you.
Absolutely.
And I think they're hard workers, and I like Justin, so I was glad to see him do that. I already mentioned Menners burning it up. So my third nickel rubber of the week was Uncle Gig in the Discord, who got some love from Kirk. He's on TJ Hubbard's heels for the Meme King.
I know. Yeah, that was a big day yesterday for him to drop those in. That was great, and it's great. He allows me to take that and throw it on Reddit as well, and it always gets the upvotes. It's like the only thing on Reddit that people actually enjoy. So it's the only positive feedback we get there. So that was really good. That gig was awesome yesterday.
I just want you to know the Reddit is part of my daily internet activity. Every single day I go to the KMS Reddit, I downvote everything, no matter what anybody. I don't know why. I just find it funny to downvote everything. Actually, that reminds me. I have a confession to make. Did you see Latino Kirk's tweet where before his show even started, it had 0 likes and 1 downvote on YouTube when it was in the waiting room, and he blamed Quantum Chris? That was me. That was me.
You?
That was yes.
He's gonna downvote you for life. That's unbelievable.
And it's just, I just was looking at it. I was like, this show hasn't even started. How funny would it be if it had a downvote already? And then when I saw him blame Chris, oh man,
So if I'm rubbing some nickels together, my guys would be Mincel Intel guys this weekend. I thought were hilarious. I think they keep the show joke going. I know Kirk said that he thinks John, prefers Barstool more. I don't know. These guys are in on KMS.
You can tell he said he doesn't watch the show, and I think that comment was indicative of the fact that he doesn't watch it, because it's tough to interact with those guys or watch their show and walk away thinking they're not huge Minahan fans.
Right. They spend Phil spends a Friday night as a 20-something-year-old hanging out in the Discord.
He's never not in the Discord. Yeah,
he's always in there. He's locked in. When I was a 20-year-old, there's no way I would have been doing those things. There's, so like those guys, I enjoy their show a lot. I like getting in and doing the Minifan Madness bracket talk. I think that's funny, and I love Warden of the North is my favorite Twitter follow. He is fantastic. He's dark, mysterious, but he keeps the humor going, which I really like. So
he's been a good one.
Yeah, those are the ones I really enjoy. So I like, again, they keep the joke going. They keep the show jokes going. They support the show in a way. They make other people uncomfortable, which I think is good. And it's the one show other than yours that I follow all the time and watch all the way through. So
I appreciate that. You're one of the 700.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm going to downvote the hell out of you now.
Yeah, go ahead. I probably will get a lot of, I think I had 12 upvotes and 8 downvotes. I had a lot of, relatively compared to the other shows, a lot of downvotes.
If you did a live show, I got to think that live chat would absolutely murder you. I think
I would do a live show if they would let me.
I'll let you.
Like this, we could probably do this live, although I do want to overlay some like the tweets we talked about. I want to put those images. So there is some post-production to this, which again was part of my thought of what's something a little different than the other shows. But I would do it live, but I understand if they don't want us going live, because I truly appreciate, like, as we learned with Pistol Pete, they're taking a risk letting us do this.
Well, you heard KFC on the phone when he was like, "Wait a minute, you let people use your YouTube channel? Like, that's insane." So yeah.
Well, that's why when I pitched this to them, I gave Steve like a proposal, like I put some work into it, and I said, "Listen, guys, I just want you to know, like, all shtick aside, all jokes aside, like I'll take it seriously. I'm not going to be the guy you have to worry about doing something on there that's going to put the channel in jeopardy or get you guys in any hot water, because it's big. It's again, it's just unbelievable that they're letting their fans do this. And there's nobody like Kirk, and there's really no show letting their fans just run amok like this.
Oh, there's no way. No,
so the other thing I just wanted to, since this is an advice show, you gave me some health advice the other day. And what was my response to you like 20 minutes later? Do you remember this?
All I told you is that I don't remember what you said, but I remember my response to it. Tell me what you said, and then I'm gonna remember my response, because I told you need to stop eating red meat. You need to stop eating chicken.
Yep.
Okay. Mix in some fish. Get some veggies. I'm worried about you. You look. You're. It's not good, Mayo. It's not. You're on camera now. You got to have a little bit of a presentation to you. I'm worried about all that mayo and bacon. It's not good for you, man.
So that was my response. You gave me some really good health advice. You encouraged me to be a pescatarian.
Yeah.
And then 20 minutes later, I just said, Red, I want you to know I just ate a bacon and mayonnaise sandwich.
Oh,
No lettuce, no tomato, no turkey. Just bacon and mayonnaise, mostly mayonnaise.
If you want to be average, that's fine. But if you want to go from average to absolute savage, you need to do this, mayo.
Well, there's a vacuum in that. There's a vacuum in the average to savage market right now. Because didn't Thrill Ride retire?
He's done. He's done as much.
Him and Cullinane retired to the countryside together.
Jesus, yeah. I think that's an avenue for you for sure.
Well, I'll start with fish sticks. I'll mix some fish sticks in.
There you go, healthy
some fish fillets.
Yeah.
All right, Red. You'll see. It'll be a new mayo. It will be a little slimmer every episode.
Thank you. Mayo's fine. It's your persona, but just a little less bacon, maybe.
All right, man. Well, thanks again for doing it.
Hey, man. Thank you. Really.
All right, Red. You take care.
Take care.
Get Red the fuck out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Red was good. All right. That's Nichols' worth of free advice. Yeah, Red is right. I don't look that good. Although who does look good after I've been quarantined. I love my family. I'm sure they're feeling the same way about me. We've been quarantined together for I don't even know how many days because I'm not joking at all. It is a blur. It is all just a blur. We've been in the house trying to get outside. The other day, I finally got my daughter out. I took her to, this is what I did. I took her to an empty field. I took a little kid's soccer ball and I punted it as far as I possibly could in that field. And then I looked at her and I said, go get it. And it was just trying to tire her out. That's all it's about right now is tiring the kids out. And it is hard to do when you're stuck inside. But Red's right. I don't look that good. The other thing about being on video is just things like this mole is 1,000 times bigger than I thought it was when I picture what I look like in my head. It's just that mole could have moles. It's just huge. So I don't know. Maybe I'll listen to Red. So that's Nicholsworth. I don't give a shit. Kirk doesn't like calling it Nicholsworth. It's, time is money, baby. I don't have time to say Nicholsworth of free advice every single time. And NWFA doesn't roll off the tongue either. Nicholsworth. Did you watch Nicholsworth? Do you guys like Nicholsworth? Hey, did you see this week's Nicholsworth? Did you hear what Mayo said on Nicholsworth? It just flows, all right? Shut up, Kirk.
Jesus fucking Christ. These fucking people. Do your show, shut the fuck up, thank me for the fucking content, or get the fuck out of my life. Is that complicated?